All right. Good afternoon, everyone. And you're welcome to today's class, which is a review of what we have done in time past. Yeah, for the new candidates, I welcome you sincerely. And I hope you have a good time during this the period of lecture. And as I've said earlier, we have done a number of things. And we hope that you'll be able to catch up on what we want to do, as it were. So what we are doing, in essence, is just a form of recap of what we have done in time past. And the old students can also benefit from the recap, as it will refresh their memory of what they have done in time past. I said in time past that the crust of software engineering that we'll be doing here is about the practice of software engineering, right? Of course, it also involves development of softwares, analysis, security, and a host of other things. But what we want to focus on is the process, as it were, all the process. And you're going to be looking at, or we're going to be, you understand why we are looking at the process of software engineering, because software engineering in itself is a technique, it's a process. However, before we start, there are arguments here and there of the that why do we say that software engineering should be in the Department of Computer Science? And why do we also argue that software is an engineering discipline? That what is tangible about it? And why do we call it engineering? Now, the answer to give to this is that anything that produces or that comes out with a product, right? It's in itself an engineering practice. Mechanical engineering, for instance, build cars, right? Civil engineering, they construct roads and probably building bridges, right? So anything that can come up with a product is an engineering discipline. However, what brought about software engineering in itself? Now, a number of you who have a computer science background, by now, we know that you call yourselves developers or you code, you write programs. Now, those programs may not follow the ethics and ethos of software engineering practices. So what we are looking at is not your ability to code, is not your ability to come up with a software, but your ability to be able to go about the practices, the techniques that are involved in the engineering process to produce a product called software. So if you're able to write a code by yourself and you deliver it to maybe your clients, of course, you are a programmer. Now, for instance, if you are coding and it is for your consumption, you may decide not to do any form of documentation. You may decide when you want to maybe release increases, like what we call it, like an update to the programs you have written or the software you have developed. However, in software engineering, there are laws, there are techniques guiding your actions in the process of developing a software. So that's what we are looking at in this course, generally. The techniques, the processes, the nomenclatures that we give to some of these practices. That's what we are looking at. So for those of you who feel that, okay, you are programmers and as such, this is a programming class. It's true, it is. However, we want to look at the best practices for developing software as it was, right? Can you still hear me? Please, if you can hear me, you could type yes so that I can know that some guys are following. Yeah, if you can hear me, please, let's have your response. All right, thank you, Madam Nike, Linda Bakada, Vivian Okuchi. All right, thank you. Nuruddin, people are plenty. It's okay. Thank you. All right, moving on. So, as a form of introduction, oh, is this necessary? All right, let's just for the new students, the meetings or the class meeting is going to be by Saturday, 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. The venue for me is online. So the final examination is as directed by the university, right? It's a 3-unit course or 4 units, depending on the nomenclature. So these are the objectives of the class, and I hope you could just look at it quickly. Okay. So then the prerequisites, we expect that for those of you who have computer science background, you would have done 1 or 2 things in what's the name, computing and probably software, right? Software engineering or related courses. So that's the prerequisites. Yeah, I think this stuff is quite slow. All right, so administration of the course. So you are supposed to attend all the classes. So if you're going to be absent, an official or written document stating why you're absent should be submitted to the class rep. Then a notice of such should be in advance and should be written in advance. That means the letter should get to me before the class. So an excluded absence requires a written testament of illness, that's if you are sick, or other form of catastrophe from a physician or other officials. Now the grading system for me, right, will be based on classwork, quizzes, exams, special assignment, design projects, and final examination according to the following scheme, as you have seen. Please, at any time you can't hear me, you should let me know, please. So this is the breakdown of what we'll be looking at during the process. So for those of you who are new, you could quickly look at this so that you could read ahead or prepare, as it may be useful to you. So we're looking at software as we'll look at introduction generally. We look at software as a product, the agile software engineering practice, future scenario stories, software architecture, cloud-based software, microservices architecture, security and privacy, reliable programming. Sorry. Then testing, DevOps, and code management. So the class will end after 10 classes. So let's push in. Yeah, can you hear me, please? Can you hear me? All right, thank you. Biscuit. How will somebody be a biscuit? All right, thank you, Nick. All right, so let's continue. So, as a form of introduction, we know that everything around us is computerized, and this computerization is driven by software, the entertainment industry, and everything. So, software engineering is essential. One thing you have to know is that software systems are abstract and intangible. Therefore, the laws governing them are not having the constraints that guides the physical laws of manufacturing processes, where they tell you what to do, you add this and this. However, for software engineering, you could have something that is flexible enough for you following some processes. So this simplifies software engineering as there are no natural limits to the potentials of software. However, because of this lack of physical constraints, the software can become extremely very complex. It could be difficult to understand and it's very expensive to change, especially when it becomes too complex. Now, there are many different types of software systems, from simple embedded systems to complex worldwide information systems. So what is the definition of software engineering? So software engineering is an engineering discipline that is concerned with all aspects of software production. So that is what we want to do. All aspects of software production, from the early stages of system specification through maintaining the system after it has gone into use, and also release of subsequent updates as new user specification comes or complaints come from the user or the client. So software engineering are methods and techniques for building a software product. Software product. So we are looking at what are the processes of developing a product that meets customer or user need. So that's what we'll be looking at generally in this course. So the history of software started at a conference in 1968, right? As opined by Randall and his friend. And it became clear that individual approaches to program development did not scale up to large and complex software systems. So for those of you who are good programmers, you could write codes that may not follow the ethics of software engineering. So you cannot claim, quote unquote, to be a software engineer. You could just claim to be a programmer. Now, there are questions that people who are in this kind of situation ask, that why is it that software developers or programmers are usually paid peanuts, whereas people who don't even put their hands on keyboard, who are software engineers, are paid more. Now, they are paid more because they are the coordinator and they know bits of everything that you want to do. So they are coordinating the activities and whipping you into shape, into line, to follow the ethics of the engineering of the product. Left for you, you could decide to go all solo, but a product developed by one person can not be said not to, like, there are a lot of influences that you would put in that kind of development that if you are developing it in a group, it will not be there. For instance, there are some people who want to design very flashy lines of code, but if you're in a group or in a software engineering group, there's a possibility that you'll be cautioned that no, don't do it this way, don't do it this way. Some of you want to write code in such a way that another person cannot make use of what you have written, right? So these are the problems that often come with software programmers and software engineers. So as we go along, you'll be seeing the duties of a software engineer, what are the practices in software engineering, and a host of other things that individual does, or your function how you relate with customers, and a host of other things. So this were unreliable, cost more than expected, and were delivered late. So if you are the only one doing the software development, there's a possibility that you don't keep to time because you want to take your own pace. As disciplined as anybody can be, there are sometimes you just feel very lazy or tired or sick. However, if you're in a group, somebody can quickly step into your shoes and fill up that space while you go to the hospital to treat yourself. So we are not looking at the development of the software, but the processes and details that we put into the development of software, right? So going for procedural software intended for use by someone apart from its developer is usually developed by teams. So that is the essence of software engineering. We emphasize on teamwork rather than individuals. It is maintained and changed throughout its lifetime. So, for instance, the concept of Japa, that most people are just running away in truths. If you are developing a software for somebody, and because you want to Japa or run away, that person stands stranded because you are the one taking the cost of the work. But if you're in a team, as soon as you run away, another person takes your spot and the work continues. So those are the practices we are emphasizing on as well. So software engineering is intended to support professional software development rather than individual programming. So that is the crux of software engineering. It includes techniques that supports one. So those are the things they do. They look at program specification. They do the design of the software. They evaluate the software and also maybe do some form of updates, customer service, after service, and a host of others. None of which are normally relevant for personal software development, because as an individual, you may be developing software for different people. So to pull your attention from one person's work to go and attend to a job that is already completed gives you a lot of trouble. Like, look, I can't be wasting my time. I have to do a lot of other things. Look, wait, when I have time, I will come. But in software engineering, the customer is attended to promptly by a member of the group. So going forward, so what is this product that we want to engineer? As a matter of fact, the end product of any software engineering exercise is a software. So we should look at software as the product of the engineering. Just like mechanical engineers, as it were, we produce what? A vehicle. I don't know if that's true, or maybe a component of a vehicle. Electrical engineers will produce, I don't know, maybe you produce meters, or you produce pole. For those of you who come to cut our lights. Oh, am I on? What was this? Hello? Yeah, who is this one with sorry, I'm seeing somebody with video. Okay, sorry. I thought I was the one in video. All right, so we want to look at software as a product. So, all right. There are a lot of pop-ups. Sorry for the stuff. So software products are generic software systems that provide functionality that is useful to a range of customers. So software products are generic software systems. So what we see as the end product of engineering is a software product that are generic, right? And it provides functionality. So we're going to look at what are functionalities and who is a customer. We're going to be looking at all those during this process. So many different types of products are available from large-scale business systems through personal products, now to simple mobile phone apps, etc. So software product engineering methods and techniques have evolved from software engineering techniques that supports development of one-off custom software system. So custom software systems are still important for large businesses, governments, and public bodies. They are developed in dedicated software projects. So, sorry, there are pop-ups on my system, so I'm trying to minimize them. So we have a project-based software, right? How do we take care of a situation where we have businesses, when we have something to produce, but it's not going to be a form of an individual activity. Rather, we look at a group of people working together to get out a product. Now, here we have problems. We look at the requirements and it is implemented into a software. So we have customer generates the requirements, right? Customer and developer also meets. Then all the requirements that have been generated by the customer and developer is being implemented by the developer. And the software so produced helps the customer with the problems he has. So we have problem, we generate requirement from the problem. The requirement is implemented and it solves the problem of the user. So that is what a project-based software looks like, not a solo-based software development, right? So project-based software engineering, the starting point for the software development is a set of software requirements. Now, I'm sure some of you would have done requirement engineering. Yeah, has anybody done, okay, for those of you who have computer science background, would you type what you have done so far? Requirement engineering, have you done yes or no? Requirement engineering. How to get what the customer needs. For those of you who have done, who have worked in that kind of situation before. What methods did you use? Quickly. No response. Yeah, can you hear me, please, so that I will know? Maybe I'm talking to myself. All right. Okay, thank you. So, requirement engineering, have you done that before? Okay, survey, Francis, thank you, survey. All right. Yeah, that's one requirement engineering gathering, thank you. What other methods? Interviews, thank you, Mr. Oluwafemi. Celestine Uche, yes, seats. What was yes, seats? Oh, yes, sir, okay. All right. Yeah, good. Focus group, thank you, Mr. Oye De Olusheye. Am I correct? I think I'm correct. All right, so going forward, so that's a method of getting software requirements now that are owned by an external client, which is a customer, and which set out what they want a software system to do to support their businesses. Software is developed by a software company, a contractor, who designs and implements a system that delivers functionality to meet the requirement of the customer. So you can see functionality coming out again. Customer, okay, brainstorming, reverse engineering, thank you. Meeting with clients and performing POC contact. What's POC, please? For those of us who are not computer scientists. Oluwafemi Arujujuye. Okay, proof of concepts. All right, so in proof of concepts, we need to develop a prototype. All right. Thank you for your thoughts. So let's continue. So the customer may change the requirement at any time in response to business changes, which they usually do. Now, this is one of the differences between a solo developer and a team of software engineer or engineering projects, like a product group. If before you start coding at all, if you are a solo developer, you meet with the client, you ask him, okay, what do you want to do? What do you want to do? What do you want to do? He gives you all he wants to do. And a contract is, maybe a contracts come up and you sign and it appears binding. So oftentimes, most developers don't want to shift grounds again. Why are you coming to change some things at the middle of the way? That no, this is not what we discussed before. You are going to increase your money. You're going to do that. That is not a proper software engineering practice. So custom software usually has a long lifetime and it must be supported over that lifespan. So this is what this is a picture showing software product engineering. So we have the developer, inspire. Sorry, there's a lot of stuff jumping on my screen. So you have opportunities. It is inspired by a product feature. So we're going to look at what are features. Then you develop a software to realize the opportunity. So let's look at sorry. Okay, let me close all these stuff. So product software engineering, the starting point for product development is a business opportunity that is identified by an individual economy. So you don't just develop a software for the purpose of just developing it. No, there must be a reason or a problem that has been identified. In the business world, it is called an opportunity. In the research world, it is called a statement of problem, or what do we call it again? Yeah, statement of problem or problems as it may be. So you must identify a particular thing or a particular issue that you want to develop a software to solve before you jump into coding. Now, you just don't code for the, when I say code, for those of you who are not computer people, writing program, that's coding. Okay, let me just be using the normal term. So writing program. You don't just start writing program for the sake of writing the program. There must be a reason why you want to write a program, right? So all these processes must at least take shape first. You must look at, okay, what problem exists? For instance, what problems we have in Nigeria, or what can you tell us one problem that you can identify, as it were, as an individual that could be solved using any computation, a computation or automation? What problems you feel should just, okay, one problem is this INEC, what's the name of this thing they collect? PVC, right? This PVC, you see the way people are not even, probably people don't want to even go and collect it because it is at snail speed, right? It is not so encouraging to even go there. So you could identify that as a problem and solve it using a software in a way, probably to post it or to notify people what time they are supposed to come, instead of all of us to just go and line up in front of INEC office and corruption jumps in. They will ask you, okay, bring money if you want to jump the queue, and a host of other things. So all those problems, you must first of all identify them, define a problem very clearly, then set out to come up with set of objectives. How do you want to solve this problem? Come up with methodologies. That's for individuals. Then You can now start design of the system, you conceptual frameworks, architectural frameworks. Then you now jump into coding proper. Then, of course, you do testing, then you deliver on that. So there are different things that could come up as problems. So the first thing is that you must identify an opportunity. So for somebody who wants to identify a problem, could also look at the way to distribute INEC cards, or you could develop a courier service that could take this stuff to people. You know, we assume that people get to the houses, especially those in Lagos, by, let's say, 11, 12. So if you have a courier service that could work at night, you just take your card and drive to the houses and they sign. Or maybe they just have a thumbprint that, okay, this is the right person collected it. Then you're going to make a lot of money from the people you are delivering to and from the government, who appears to be very docile in getting people to get their PVC, or what is it? So the company will identify the opportunity, designs, and implement a set of software features that realize the opportunity and that will be useful to customers. The software development company are responsible for deciding on the development time scale, right? What features to be included. So we are going to be looking at what are features, what are time scales. So these are the things we'll be looking at in details in subsequent classes or slides. So, and when the product should change. So this, when a company decides to just do like a proprietary software, it decides all the parameters, all the features. So it is not that a customer telling you what you are supposed to do for me. No, you will do what you feel, how it is solving a problem. Like for instance, now no customer can tell you that, okay, maybe you should include thumbprints for the person who's going to collect his PVC first. No, you just decide by yourself. Now, deciding by yourself is at your prerogative. The time you are going to deliver it is at your, so it cannot say, okay, please, oh, I'm getting home at 12, so you must come by 12 sharp. Is when you get there, if the person decides to open his gate, knock, 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 I'm so person, I'm here to deliver your PVC. Could you step out of your house, you thumbprint, you get your card, you move to the next destination. So probably in about 10 or 20 days, when you have several dispatch riders, we could get all these PVCs to people who are registered. So rapid delivery of software products is also essential to capture the market for that type of product. Now, as I just identified a problem, like somebody else is thinking about that problem. So the problem is not local to you, right? So you should be able to deliver it quickly. However, you are not time bound. So the time space is as you decide, but you should also be careful not to be too lazy, so that somebody else will not come up with your work and file for a patent for it, right? So the next thing is to look at the software product line. Just like you have assembly plants for BMW, Mustang, and a host of other cars. So a set of software products that share a common core. Each member of the product line includes customer-specific adaptation and addition. For instance, you could build a car. They call them custom-built cars. And you could also make general, maybe like all this, what's the name of this stuff? Camry. You know, they have yearly products like, say, 2000 and this, 2000 and that. So those are just generic. But there are some that are specific. Now, what we know that is common in all these, that all the cars must have tires. So they share common core. They must have engine. Now, the engine can now be specific, either V4 or V6, right? So anything that's, so each members of the product line includes customer-specific adaptation and addition. So you could come up with a software, but at some time, you could also modify it to meet a specific need that you have identified. For instance, there was a time we were doing something on biometrics, And we found out that though your biometric features, especially fingerprints, is unique to an individual, but we found out that some people do some kind of work that will alter the ability of the reader to be able to capture their, what's the name? Capture their fingerprints. So other method has to be deduced in order, or maybe advanced in order to solve that problem. One of the issue is to put soap water on the person's hand or this sanitizer to soften the area of interest that we want to pick up. Now, if that does not work, what other methods can you adapt on your system to make the fingerprint to be, at least for you to read the fingerprint easily? So software product line may be used to implement a custom system for a customer with specific need that cannot be met by the generic software. So generic software is the one that you develop earlier from here. Coming. That you developed here. You conceptualized it. Everything is from your end. However, you may want to now, okay, look at an individual who has a bit of requirement, that you could tailor that generic software into a bit of user features. Just add a bit of user feature, but it will be specific for that individual. For instance, payroll generally has the same format. Calculating CGPA has the same format. However, there are some peculiarities from banks to banks, university to university, for maybe course code, representation of just some representation like freshmen instead of 100 level student. What again? There are differences that you could just in a way tweak to accommodate the specific specific need of the users. Why this one's typing? I didn't tell you to type Mbanugo Victoria. Guys are okay. Oh, I think I'm teaching instead of just do summary. So let's go. So platform. So we have seen product line. So platform, a software or software plus hardware product that includes functionalities so that new application can be built on it. An example of a platform that you probably use is the Facebook, which allows you to develop Facebook app. This adds new features that may be used by a business or a Facebook interest group. For instance, for those who develop content, you see, that's what they want to do. For those who do preaching, that's what they want to do. For those who advertise, that's what they want to do. So it just helps, platform helps you in just coming up or maybe adding some other things that you feel is useful other than the generic one. Software execution model. So we have the standalone, which is just the software execute entirely on the customer system. So there's no everything, the software, everything we just once just develop it, it is installed on the, it is dumped on the user's system, and everything works on the system. We could have hybrid in such a way that some part of the functionalities are resident on the system of the user, and some other is implemented or hosted by the developers. Now, the software service, you could have all the products being hosted on the server of the developer. So you just use a front end or like what do you call a node to access some, maybe access some of the functionalities that you feel is useful to you. Who is this Johnson? Who is Johnson Olumide Oluwaseyi? Yeah, I said don't write don't write attendance yet. When you are supposed to write your attendance, I will let you know. If I kick you out of the class, you say I'm wicked, right? Okay. You are the ones giving issues where my stuff is. So this is a pictorial representation of that. You have standalone, you have hybrid, and you have software as a service. I'm sure some of you who have computer background. Some of you will be thinking of cloud services, right? Is it cloud platform as a service, software as a service, and a host of others. But we have a diverse consideration here. So comparable software development. So the key feature of product development is that there is no external customer that generates requirements and pays for the software. So you just take the initiative, develop a software, throw it in the market, people buy, you make your money. Now, there's also, this is also true for other types of software development. For instance, student projects. So individual or student group develop software as part of their course. Given an assignment, they decide what features to include in the software. So those are student projects. Now, research software, researchers develop software. Now, please listen to this as it may help you in your academic career. It's very important. Researchers develop software to help them answer questions that are relevant to their research. So once you are developing a software in your project or research, that is not the research. Developing a software is not the research. As a matter of fact, it is just a proof of concept. So some of you will come up with very fantastic software, but if you do not know the science that goes into that software development, we don't see you to have come to any beats in academics. So that's why there's always this contention between those HR in the industry and those in the academia. You say students who graduate are not employable. You see, when you hear that, you just be thinking that, okay, a student graduates from your department and he gets a job at Microsoft, he gets a job at very top companies abroad. And those in Nigeria will say the same student is not employable. How did that come about? So there's always a conflict of, okay, what do you feel is important to you? As an HR, you say, okay, this person must have hands-on. Yes, this person has hands-on, but he wants to tell you about the science behind what the hands-on on. I say, no, he's full of theory. No, he knows the practical, but he wants to first of all know that you understand the theory first. Of course, I've been at an interview and one of these people was asking me a particular question. And of course, these are questions that, and I was telling him, okay, this is this, this is this, this is this. And he said, no, that's not true. You see, that was when I was still very young. Of course, I'm still young. He was now trying to argue with me. I said, look here, sir, I am a computer scientist, core computer scientist. So you cannot argue with me on this matter, that this is what is correct. Of course, he didn't agree. He felt I bruised his ego, but I let him know that, of course, I'm not going to compromise standards because you want to offer me a job. Of course, I didn't get the job, and I'm happy for that. Because probably I would have been sacked by now. But I think I'm quite, who is this Ibrahim Latif again? This Paul Ugilo, you have written this thing twice. All right. So internal tool development, software developers may develop tools to support their work. In essence, these are internal products that are not intended for customer release. It's just to aid their own work and duty. So the product vision. Now, what I'll do is that once I just see your name, I will just take you out of the class and you'll not be able to join again till the end of the class, till the end of the session. don't write your name. It pops up here. So Odebi, Yola, Dayo, Uluwatobi, that's the last person. The next person who puts his name on the chat, before I ask you to do that, I'm going to remove you from the class. So you'll not be able to attend again. All right, so the product vision. The starting point for software product development is a product vision. Product visions are simple statements that define the essence of the product to be developed. So the product vision should answer three fundamental questions. What is the product to be developed? Who are the target customers and users? Why should customers buy the product? So these are the questions that you have to look at once you are looking at the vision for any product. What is the name of the product? Who are the customers? And why do you feel there's an advantage in what you have developed over the existing one? So the more vision templates has these 6 parameters to consider, and they are for who, for the target customer, who, statement of the need of or opportunity, the products, that's what's key, what are we benefiting from if I buy it? So what is the comparison with existing system unlike? So what is our product offering? So this is a more vision template for product vision. So vision templates, this is one of the examples of vision templates. Say for a mid-sized company, marketing and sales department, who needs basic CRM functionality, the CRM innovator is your internal. Okay, sorry. Can you hear me, please? Say my internet is unstable. Can you hear me, please? Let me see. Let's type. Oh, all right. Lade, Olako. Ah, Mrs. Ali Balogun, you're in class. That's good. John Adekoju, thank you. Samuel Ibujen, Abigen or Jen. Thank you. All right. I think there was an information that my internet is not stable. So please, at any time you can't hear me, let me know, please. Thank you, Mr. Olale Olanite and Ajewole Olanike Oluwa Miku. Okay, so let's continue. So this is a sample. So if I ask you to come up with a vision template, especially in exam, come up with a vision template for something like this. So you, of course, you're going to see how you, of course, you come up with a problem. What is the advantage of what you want to develop over existing system? So you must know about an existing system, right? So what this is doing is, you see, what the course generally is going to help you in 2 ways, or in a number of ways. Let me just put 2. One, it's going to help you as a counselor. It's going to help you as a thinker, right? It's also going to help you as a researcher. Because what you are going to be doing is pure management, pure thinking, and a host of other things. So you're not just learning, okay, software engineering, but it's going to expose you to other things, project manager, to be an HR person, you know, to be good at maybe public relation. It just helps you, especially when you have to take responsibility for a lot of things. Yeah, so for a mid-sized company, marketing, sales department, who needs basic CRM functionality, the CRM Innovator is a web-based service that provides sales tracking, lead generation, and sales representative support features that improves customer relationship at critical touch points. Unlike other services or packaged software products, our product provides very capable services at a modest cost. So this is teaching you how to brand, as it were. And excuse me, please. Yeah, can you hear me now? All right, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Olanite Celestine Azonubi. Who is Kabesi? Kabesi, Kinyo Nwasunuke. This name is familiar, Emmanuel Nwasunuke. Denise Nwasunuke Emmanuel. All right. Linda Baka. Okay. So let's move on. So this is a branding, like, okay, our product does this, our service goes and blah, blah, a host of other stuff. So let's move on. I think I'm teaching, instead of just run through it. So information sources for developing a product vision. So you have seen what a product vision is. You have seen the three criteria, the three things that you have to put. Come in, let me go back. These are the three considerations. What is the product to be developed? Who are the target customers and users? Why should customer buy this product? So we saw the more vision and the templates, and we saw an example. So what are the sources, or what sources can you get some of this product vision from? The first one is domain experience, product experience for those who have used it before, customer experience as a present user, prototyping and playing around. So those who have like creating a model, then tweaking the abstraction of that model to get the right one, and then playing around with figures, with the equations and all that. Now, this is another model or like vision template. So we are for teachers and educators who need a way to help students use web-based learning resources and application, the iLearn system. So the product name is what? iLearn. It is for what? Teachers and educators. Now, what is the improvement? Now, iLearn system is an open learning environment that allows the set of resources used by class and let me see, who is this one again? Okay, all right. Let me continue. So, say unlike virtual learning environments such as Moodle, the focus of iLearn is the learning process. So that's the advantage of iLearn over LMS. So LMS is just for administration rather than the outcome of the learning itself. So schools and universities are target customers for the iLearn system, and to significantly improve the learning experience of students at relatively low cost. It will collect and process learners' analytics that will reduce the cost of progress tracking and reporting. So attendance can be taken easily and a host of other things. All right, so Olani, whatever, who is this fellow? There's two people that I'm going to evict now. I didn't tell you to write name. So who is this fellow? Gaza Lee Sikiru Adeniyi. I'm going to evict you from this group. You will not be able to attend classes again. So you don't get, yeah, somebody is raising Michael Tasker. Okay, let me allow you to. What's the problem? Do you have a question?
Yes, sir. I have a question, sir.
Okay.
So thank you for the lecture so far. It's very rich. So, concerning your concern about the people that have been putting their matric numbers, is
Yes,
a culture for us, the younger batch. We actually used to do this for every other class, and then some people are just coming in. That is why they have not had your notice. So if there's a way the whole class could be informed about your own rules or regulation, it will be better, because I don't think these people that are putting their names have heard about it.
Oh, But well, from the statistics I have here, the statistics didn't increase. It just increased 124 a bit now. No, 2028. It was 124 before. And that was what I said, that look, don't put your name, it's distracting. It pops up. And it's the about 4 people just came in again, put their names. It's not
Honestly, I don't think they were in your first class.
No, I've said it a number of times just now.
Okay, no, they are just coming in. They have not been in the class. These people.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you for your thoughts.
Thank you.
So I hope we will not have any name coming in. When it's time to get your names, I will let you know. Because if somebody is picking up the attendance, so I don't want the person to have double registration. Who is this Ghazali? You are the one I want to kick out of the class. What was the problem? You could unmute yourself.
Yes, sir. Actually, it was not deliberate. We are sorry. We just had to. I came in now because I just got the notification for the class. It was not deliberate to have just written our names there. We are sorry for that.
Are you indicting me or making a plea?
It's a plea,
because
actually.
I don't get it.
It's
You
just
are
a
coming
plea.
late, one. You are violating my rules, two.
Sorry, sir.
And you are still asserting now. All right. Okay, let's continue. So I'm going to allow you for now. I hope you don't violate the class rules again. So moving on. So product management, software product management. So software product management is a business activity that focuses on the software product developed and sold by the business. So who are those people who are involved? What do they do? What are their duties? What are their responsibilities? Yeah, hello? Okay. I think the network was a bit bad. Yeah, please, at any time you can't hear me, let me know, please. Just type, I will see it pop up. So the constituent of the management includes the project managers. So the project manager takes over responsibility for the products and are involved in planning, development, and product marketing. So as a software product manager, your works are planning, development, marketing. So you can see those of you who are developers, who are just program writers, you can see what the product manager is doing. He's going on with the planning, he's going to be paid more. He's going on with development, he's going to be paid more. He's going to be marketing, he's going to be paid more for doing all this. You see other duties that this individual goes through just to make sure that, okay, you get the product rolling. So product managers are the interface between the organization, its customer, and the software development team. So you can see another function is relating with the organization, relating with the customer, and also taking charge of the developers and the coders, that those of you who write the program, you are under his purview. So they are involved at all stages of production lifetime, from initial conception through to withdrawal of product from market. That's when you're not going to be releasing updates. So product managers must look outward to customers and potential customers rather than focus on the software being developed. You get that? So the function of a product manager is so diverse. And that's why you who write the code always complain, why will you not pay much? So this is the project management concern. It looks at the business need, the constraints of technology at present, then the customer experience. So in all of this, you could develop different aspects of duty that a project or a product manager can take up. So it looks at the customer experience, business needs, and technological constraints. A lot of issues. System. All right. So technical interaction of product manager. Who does he talk to? Yeah, sorry. There's a booming noise. There's something passing over my house. Yeah, so product vision management, that's the duty of product manager. Product backlog management, that means what are those things that are important that must go into coding or into execution immediately. Then it goes to see the customer, right? To look at, okay, what we have tested on our own platform, set of developers, in-house people, does it conform with what you really require? It will also look at the user stories and scenario. Now, this is the point where I said it will make you a better counselor. If you do not see people's problem as they see it, there's a possibility that you cannot come up with a software that will solve their problems as they wish. For instance, some of you have not left Lagos all your life, and somebody is telling you that, Harmattan in Maiduguri, in Jos, that is very hard though. You can't understand what he's talking about because in Lagos, it's still very hot. But in Jos, by this time, you have the temperature as around 14, 18 degrees, midnight. So if you don't understand or you don't have the experience of traveling to that region, you can't understand that guy's problem. So if you want to develop a system that should work in a temperate region, like a very hot place, and the person is living maybe in Alaska, you can't understand when he tells you that, look, the concentration of maybe heat emission is a problem for him and all that. So as a project manager, you must sit down, put yourself in the shoes of the user, empathize with the user, then come up with a product that reflects his ambition. And this can be done by listening to his user stories and scenario. We're going to be looking at that too. So there are some codes that are usually very good, but because of their user interface, we just throw them out. Now, why do you think there's an improvement from maybe Windows 95, 98, then when we have Windows whatever now? When we have to load Windows 95 or Windows 98, you write a lot of line codes, copy start dot start this, win this, that. But now just a click, you can load the system very fast. In those days, when we needed to load our system, the current technology was probably Pentium 2, Pentium 1. It's like you want to go into a surgery. Then we didn't have sufficient laptops, so you just depend on desktop. You have one miserable power bank, one black thing like that, very big, that can only last for 3 minutes just for you to shut down. So if there's any itch in power, you have to restart all over. As slow as that installation is, even if there's any itch, you start all over again. Now, maybe you could be installing only Windows 98 for close to 2 hours or 3 hours. So when you finish installing again, you start installing the driver for each of everything. It's just cumbersome. Now, given that problem, other version came out. In fact, I was trying to install OS on my system recently. I didn't even stay there. I just click, type of them, and I left. When I came back, it was loaded. But in those days, you carry a chair, sit down in front of the system, and be looking at it so that it won't say error or something. That was the technology. That was the technology that was available then. So the product manager must take cognizance of all this in developing systems or in developing products for a user. So I think I've looked at all this. So technical interaction of product manager, product vision management, product roadmap development, users stories and scenario. So product backlog creation and management, acceptance testing, customer testing, user interface design. So you could look at that. So the next thing is product prototyping. Now we saw in requirement gathering that one of the ways of getting maybe the need to come up with a new system is by prototyping. Now, prototyping is a form of modeling, right? That you model like abstraction, like we call it abstraction from the complexity of that situation. So it just represents the product with a few characteristics. Then you now maybe tweak the abstraction, the properties you have abstracted, you trick it here and there. For instance, you need to you want to build a bridge. Now you can't just start constructing the bridge without any blueprint. So what you do is that you can do some technical drawing. You could do weight testing. So once you have done the drawing, you can now do a prototype, a small bridge. That, okay, if I allow a trailer to climb on it, does it have any effect? If I allow small cars to climb on it, what amount of cement am I going to use? Now, I'm sure some of you are aware that they don't allow some of these trailers to walk on Third Mainland Bridge, right? It is from the prototyping that all these facts were derived. So product prototyping is a process of developing an early version of a product to test your idea and to convince yourself and company founder that your products have real market potential. So that's just the maybe slight definition, but this is a whole course on its own, modeling and simulation. Okay, so you may be able to write an inspiring product vision, but your potential user can only really relate to your product when they see a working version of your software. They can point out what they like and don't like about and make suggestions for a new feature. So a prototype may also be used, a prototype may be also used to help identify fundamental software components or services and to test technologies. So building a prototype should be the first thing you do. You should always plan to throw away this prototype once your work is done. So two-stage prototyping. The first one is feasibility demonstration and customer demonstration. So I think we can look at this. So in conclusion, we'll be able to look at software products as software systems that include general functionalities that is likely to be useful to a wide range of customers. Now in product software engineering, the same company is responsible for deciding on the features that should be part of the product and the implementation of this feature. So the key point too, you could also look at that. And thank you for listening. All right, so I think we are done with the first class. So we're going to the second. Second. Okay, I want to share my slide. Okay, agile process. All right. So we have been able to establish that that software engineering is the end product of software engineering is a product, and that product is software. Now, for you to come up with a product, there are processes and there are people involved. We have been able to see that customers are involved, managers are involved, developers are involved. And we have seen the function of some of these key actors, right? So, who is this? Let me see. Somebody type it in. Who is Ikiyangi something? Who won? Are you just joining the class too? Or you just decided to test the water? All right. I'm going to kick you out very soon. So the next thing we're going to be looking at is Agile software engineering. Now, remember in the start point, I said we're going to be looking at the processes of coming out with a product. So there's different methods of achieving or coming up with a software. And one of those processes is called the Agile software engineering practice. What is this one again? Can we get these slides you are using, sir? No, please. But the class is being recorded now. Though I think I sent it out earlier to the year 2. So you could ask them, but I think I've decided not to send it again so that I could have it as my property. Going forward. So software products must be brought to the market as quickly as possible. Why? So that you don't lose to your competitors. So as we said that there is a problem with developers, especially single developers. They take time or decide time for them to release. However, there is competition and you must beat this competition. So there is a need for products to get to the market as quickly as possible. So virtually all software products are now developed using an agile approach. It's better to share, sir. Why is it better to share? You don't know. All right, let's continue. Where was I? So virtually all software products are now developed using an agile approach. So what is this agile approach? Agile software engineering focuses on delivering functionality quickly. That is the whole essence of agile process. Responding to changing product specification and minimizing development overhead. Now, a large number of agile methods have been developed. However, there's no best agile method or technique. It depends on who is using the technique, the development team, and the type of product being developed. So agile method is just, okay, fast. Let's drop this thing quickly. We drop functionalities, we drop updates, and we reduce costs. That's the whole bearing for the agile process. All right. So what's the agile method like? So the agile method is a plan-driven development which evolved to support the engineering of large, long lifetime system, such as aircraft control system, where teams may be geographically dispersed and work on the software for several years. Now, this approach is based on control and rigorous software development processes that includes detailed project planning, requirement specification, and analysis and system modeling. However, plan-driven development involves significant overhead and documentation, and it does not support the rapid development and delivery of software. Agile methods were developed in the 90s to address this problem. This method focused on the software rather than its documentation. Development software in a series of increments and aim to reduce process bureaucracy as much as possible. So that is what this seeks to achieve. They deliver functioning software as quickly as possible, where other processes like documentation, negotiation goes underground, right? So that is what we seek to achieve. So what is the manifesto of the agile process? So we are uncovering better ways of developing software by doing it and helping others do it. Through this work, we have come to value individuals and interaction over process and tool, working software over comprehensive documentation, customer collaboration over contract negotiation. So this is flooring programmers, individual programmers. They are more of contract. Once we just agree here, no more shifting ground. Now, you don't also want to respond to changes over responding to changes over following a plan. So essentially, the Agile Manifesto is to floor individual developers. It encourages group of people. It encourages delivery of software promptly and effectively over some other tools. Now, while there is value on the items on the right, we value the items on the left more. We negotiate contracts, good, but it is not like it is the real thing. We follow plan while responding to changes. We do documentation, but we still prefer that our software works first. Then we value individuals and interaction over processes and tools. So that's why I say left and right. So incremental development. All agile methods are based around incremental development and delivery. Product development focuses on the software features, where a feature does something for the software user. With increments, you start by prioritizing features. So that is, what do you call it? This bucket list, the ones that are important first, goes in first, so that the most important features are implemented first. You only define the details of the features being implemented in an increment. That feature is then implemented and delivered to the users quickly as possible. Users or surrogate users can try it out in testing and provide feedback to the development team. We then go to define and implement the next feature of that system to be delivered to the user. So this is the incremental development style. You have the product feature list. Then choose features to be included in increment, refine feature description, implement and test features, integrate features into system, deliver the first increment. If all the features are complete, deliver the system as a release. So incremental development activity. So what do you do during this incremental development? The first thing is to choose the features to be included in an increment. Using the list of features in the planned product, select those features that can be implemented in the next product increment. So you refine the features description, you implement and test, you integrate features and tests, deliver the system as shown in the figure earlier shown. Then what are the agile development principles? The first thing is that you must involve the customer. So their role is to provide and prioritize new system requirements and to evaluate each increment of the system. So while you are developing the critical features, the user comes, checks it, oh, has this solved the problem I encountered earlier? Or is it solving the problems that I hope to solve? You should embrace change. You should develop and deliver in increments. That means it's not that all systems will be working before you deliver. No. Then maintain simplicity as much as you can. Focus on people and not on things. So it's not about money, money, money. So trust the development team and do not expect everyone to always do the development process in the same way. Team members should be left to develop their own ways of working without being limited by perspective of the software process. So one example of agile process is the XP, which is the extreme programming, right? So the most influential work that has changed software development culture was the development of extreme programming. The name was coined by Kent in 1998 because the approach was developed by pushing recognized good practice, such as iterative development to extreme levels. Extreme programming focused on 12 new development techniques that were geared to rapid incremental software development, change, and delivery. Some of these techniques are now widely used. Others are less popular. The most widely used XP techniques are shown. So, test first development, refactoring, small releases, continuous integration, incremental planning, simple design, on-site customer, sustainable pace, peer programming, collective ownership. So those are the 12 methods that extreme programming brought forth. So you see the definition of some of them here. So another one is the Scrum. So software company managers need information that will help them understand how much it costs to develop a software product, how long it will take, and when the product can be brought to the market. So plan-driven development provides this information through long-term development plans that identify deliverables, that's items the team will deliver, and when this will be delivered. Now, plans always change, so anything apart from short-term plans are unreliable. So Scrum is another agile method that provides a framework for agile project organization and planning. It does not mandate any specific technical practices. So these are the Scrum terminologies. So we said that for any engineering endeavor, there must be a product, right? So what is the definition of this product? So the software product that is being developed by the Scrum team is called the product. Who is the owner? A team member who is responsible for identifying product features and attributes, the review work done, and help to test the products. Then product backlog. So it's a to-do list of items such as bugs, features, and product improvement that the Scrum teams have not yet completed. Development team. So a self-organizing team of around 1 to 4 or 1 to 8 who are responsible for developing the product. Then sprints, the short period, typically 2 to 4 weeks when product increment is to be developed. So what is a Scrum? So a Scrum is a daily meeting where progress is reviewed and work to be done that day is discussed and agreed. The Scrum Master is a team coach who guides the team in the effective use of the Scrum. Potential shippable product increments, that's the output of a sprint, which should be of high enough quality to be deployed for customer use. Velocity, an estimate of how much work a team can do in a single sprint. So what are the key roles in the Scrum? So we have seen that Scrum is a group of people who in a way develop, like they meet. They are usually 1 to 8 or 4 to 8 who determine how fast they can come up with a product, right? They have different people with different names or different roles in the Scrum, and they have specific duties to perform. So key roles in Scrum, we have the product owner, we have the Scrum Master, as we have seen in previous slides. So Scrum and sprints. In Scrum, software is developed into sprints. What is sprint? Of course, we have seen what sprint is in previous slide, which are flexible, which are fixed lengths period, usually 2 to 4 weeks. So a sprint is usually about 2 to 4 weeks, in which software features are developed and delivered. So during the sprint, the team has daily meetings, which are called Scrum. Now, oftentimes, we want to believe that everybody who is working on a particular software, they will be in a certain location, but this is not the situation as it were now, given COVID, given other issues that are of interest to us. So we don't expect every Scrum member to be in a particular location. They can be in different geographical location, and of course, they can meet using different methods. So during the sprint, the team has daily meetings to review progress and update the list of work items that are incomplete. So sprint should produce a shippable product increment. This means that the developed software should be complete and ready to deploy on a sprint. So this is the Scrum cycle. You start, review, select item, plan the sprint, have a Scrum, develop software, test software, deliver. Then the top 5 benefits of using Scrum. You have a unstable requirement, do not hold up progress. If one person runs away, quickly replace person. So you see the advantage on this slide. Then key Scrum practice, you have a product backlog, time box sprints, self-organizing team. So you could read, all these are easy to come by, it's not technical, right? So product backlog. So the product backlog is a list of what needs to be done to complete development of a product. Now, the items of this list are called product backlog item, PBIs. The product backlog may include a variety of different items, such as product features. So we're going to be looking at what a feature is, what's the scenario, what's a story in subsequent slides. To be implemented, users' requests, essential development activities, and desirable engineering improvements. The product backlog should always be prioritized so that the items to be implemented first are at the top of the list, so that we can get a deliverable out to the customers as quickly as we can. So an example of a product backlog is as written here. As a teacher, I want to be able to configure the group of tools that are available to individual classes. That's an example of a feature. As a parent, I want to be able to view my children's work and the assessments made by their teachers. That's a feature. As a teacher of young children, I want a pictorial interface for children with limited reading ability. Yes, that's a user request. Then the other one, establish criteria for assessment of open source software that may be used as a basis for parts of this system, development system. That's what is required here. Then refactor user interface code to improve understandability and performance. That's an engineering improvement. Then also implement encryption for all personal users so that you limit access of people at different stages. That's still a form of engineering improvement. So product backlog item states, they are ready, they are items that are ready for consideration, items ready for refinement, items ready for implementation. So you could break them up into this. You have the PBI 1, refinement, PBI 2, estimation, prioritization, creation. So you could, the backlog that you have for a sprint or for a Scrum meeting can be broken down into smaller lists in such a way that every individual, that's everything on that bucket list can be quickly attended to. For instance, what is causing you not to finish what you are given in the sprint? If that project is too long or too big, then you could break them up into little work, into little bits of PBIs handled by different sets of people, or maybe different Scrum, so that solutions can quickly come out and sent to the user of the product. So product backlog activity includes refinement, estimation, creation, prioritization, as we have seen earlier. So PBI estimation metrics. So once you do a project or a research, there's what we call performance evaluation, right? If you are doing classification, you look at something on accuracy, specificity, and a host of others. So there are metrics for evaluating PBIs. One of it is effort required, the story point. So if the work is so big, it can be broken. If the story point is too arbitrary, how can you make it technical enough for the Scrum members to understand? Then time box sprints. Products are developed in a series of sprints, each of which deliver an increment of the product or supporting software. Sprint has short time duration of 1 to 4 weeks and takes place between a defined start and end date. Sprints are time boxed, which means that development stops at the end of a sprint, whether or not the work has been completed. So if the work has not been completed here, it becomes a PBI for the next sprint. Now, you now consider what happened that we're not able to complete this development on this sprint. If it's too large, then we can break it up, share to two Scrum, to other two Scrum, right? Then give them a sprint. Let's see if they can complete it. So during a sprint, the team work on the item from the product backlog. Raise this hand. Okay, somebody raise this hand. Anu Ugunleke. Okay, yes, please. You can unmute yourself.
Good afternoon, sir.
Raise your hand.
Hello, good afternoon, sir.
Yes, please.
Can you hear me, sir?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. So thanks for the lecture so far. Please, this sprint in the previous definition, the duration is 2 to 4 weeks, but yeah, we are saying it's 1 to 4 weeks. I just wanted to clarify. Maybe there's something.
Okay, it's a range. It's a range, right? Now, for instance, you have members of Scrum. to be 1 to 8. At another instance, I said 4 to 8. Now, the consideration is that one person cannot make a Scrum. It's just giving us a range of, so maybe you just have, when I say 4 to 8, you could have 4 people. 1 to 8, you could have 7 people. You could have 8 people. Now, the time duration is usually 1 to 4 weeks. However, for sprints, you cannot start a sprint and deliver anything as early as you begin or you began, right? So you have a period that must elapse before anything can be delivered. So I could say 1, maybe 2 to 4, 3 to 4. But usually there's an upper limit and lower limit. So we usually have 4 weeks, 1 to 4 weeks. It could be 1 to 2 weeks. It could be 1 to 3 weeks, 1 to 2 weeks, 1 to 4 weeks. I don't know if I answered your query or your question, not a query. Okay, I think the person has dropped his hand. How many minutes do we have more? We have 10 minutes more. Okay, somebody wrote again. Let me see. Oh, okay, thank you, sir. Said he gets what I've just said. So, moving on. So this is benefit of using time boxed. There's problem discovery, there's work planning, and we can demonstrate evidence of progress. So please, you could start putting in your names and matric number as we start. Sir, please, can we get the class on YouTube? Yes, please. How do I get? Mr. Lanite, please, can you get the, what's the name? The address of the YouTube and paste here so that most people will see. Thank you. See them, they have started writing names so that they will run away. God is looking at you in 3D. All right. Continue. So, what are the activities during a sprint? We have sprint planning, we have sprint execution, we have sprint reviewing. Test what work have we done so far. So some of these things are things you can look at by yourself. And so sprint planning involves establish of an agreed sprint goal. Now decide on the list of items from the product backlog that should be implemented, then create a sprint backlog. So these are the sprint goals. So sprint planning, in a sprint planning, the teams decide which item in the product backlog should be implemented during the sprint. During the sprint, the team have daily meetings to coordinate their work. That's quite important. So let's now look at Scrum in details. So a Scrum is a short daily meeting that is usually held at the beginning of the day. During the Scrum, all team members share information, describe their progress since the previous day Scrum, problems that have arisen, and plans for the coming day. Okay, somebody raised their hand. Messi Okudua. Okay, please, you have the floor.
Hello, sir. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, please.
And my question is there a difference between Scrum and daily stand-up, or they are the same thing?
Daily what?
Like stand-ups, that there's something like, say, stand-up meetings, then they say Scrum meeting. Is there a difference between these two? Or they are just...
Well, I don't know. I'm not too sure if I understand what stand-ups mean. What do you do during stand-ups?
It's still this. It just fits into the same explanation. A daily meeting that it's not supposed to be like so long. Most times 15 minutes, where you get to share.
Everybody standing up. Is it for a software development or for other purposes?
No, software development is for
Yes.
software development.
So it
It just
fits
fits
in.
into yeah.
Who again? Yeah, Messi Okunuga. Okay, I think somebody else. That does.
Okodu.
Okay, the next person is who? Moshood Aliu.
Okay, sir. I just want to ask, although it's related to software, there's a recent development on Chat GPT. Can you
Yes,
replace
please.
the work of the developers based on the extent of work that Chat GPT does now, as in translating code, writing to go write small code,
Okay, that chat CPT is a transformer, right? An improved transformer that is able to do a lot of things and quite intelligent also. It can write code very excellently. However, can it write a code that is sympathetic of a customer's need? Not only that, we have seen people who try to use that product for research purposes. However, that product in itself is not as intelligent as we think it is. Now, it's not generative, like it cannot come up with what does not exist. And it doesn't put perspective to what it has written. However, its writing is excellent. You cannot find any form of plagiarism in what it has done, right? It does things to near perfection. However, there's what we call denotative and connotative meanings. It can only be denotative, as symbolic as possible, but it cannot connote other things. For instance, if you tell this CBT to look at an hybrid system, all it does is to bring maybe what has written for one model, then bring what has written for the other model and bring them together. But as a researcher, by the time you read the content of what has written, you find out that this thing is not as intelligent as a human. So in a way, it cannot replace programmers. It cannot replace Scrum members because it works solo. However, I think it's about 31 people who came up to develop that product to do one thing. So that's an individual. The charge CPT is an individual. However, we could also postulate to those people that can we look at several CPT coming together to form like a parallel connection. Like they will not be working in series, but they work in parallel to mimic the position of individuals in the Scrum. Right? That is not possible yet. As a matter of fact, the release note says is in trial version. So we hope that we'll see some improvements that will help us as time goes by. However, now some of you will lose your jobs, so you can't replace a researcher, unfortunately. So there's another person. Who is this one? Ikechukwu Ane. Sorry, I don't get your name. Ikechukwu Anolefo.
Yes, Ikechukwu Anolefo is my name, sir.
Okay, sir.
Good evening, sir. Yeah, it's just an addition to the question the person asked. That is, I'm just trying to share my view because I was really fascinated when I used that chat GPT.
Okay.
As you said, a lot of people are going to lose their job. A lot of programmers, because it just came out. Yes, it just came out in November, and that thing is almost as accurate as anything. And we expect by the next 1 year there's going to be a massive improvement. And they know that the discovery of AI can take what exists and create what does not exist. Like AI will be able to look at what is existing and be able to create something futuristic. So which means that AI, because they use AI to create this. So I feel like time will come when it can even predict the future, like things you don't imagine. A computer will be able to put it together and then give you thousands of design or futuristic, elements or something like that. So I believe
that's
that
happening already.
yes, exactly. So which means that the people that might be able to keep their job in the coding field might be highly experienced,
Programmers.
programmers. They're the ones that will remain, because
Managers.
or managers, yes, because you need to understand all the concepts. So the whatever the AI will be able to like do snippet of codes for you, and then you join the codes together. But I believe that in the future it will be able to do everything. It will do everything, every concept, it will fix it together and then give you a result. So I think the future is scary somehow with this.
It's not scary. You are fortunate to be in computer science.
Yes. But it becomes highly competitive. It becomes highly competitive. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah. So that's just it.
All right. Thank you for your thoughts.
All right.
Obafemi Kazim, please, you have the floor.
Sure. So it's also a follow-up to this. So I personally believe that ChatGPT for programmers currently is just a better version of Stack Overflow. So from Stack Overflow, you can get different kinds of code, then put them together and form a complete project. So at the moment, ChatGPT cannot form a complete project by itself. So you see
snippets of code. Snippets.
Exactly, snippets. Now form it yourself. So at the moment, it can't replace them. But in future, of course, if they continue to upgrade and maybe connect to the internet later, it's possible for it to take over.
I think you also need to define the problems before it can even bring up a solution. So requirement engineering will still be for the subscriber, the Scrum members, or probably the customers or the users. Mr. Kabiesi, is it Alafin or where? Yes, you have the floor, please. I don't think I can hear. Is it me? Kabiesi, you are raising your hand though. I don't think. Can anybody hear him, please?
Can anyone hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay. Good evening, sir. Like I was saying,
yes, please.
I said I just believe I'm a software developer. I just believe ChatGPT is just like every other tools to help developers. One, it can't replace developers. I can say that, and I'll say it again. And because it's beyond just writing codes. If it's just about writing codes, fine, it will take over. But it's beyond just writing codes. No matter how creative AI is, there are some level of human input that it can never take. And does AI, when it comes to custom softwares, there are times that spelling out requirements, it's beyond just like it's beyond what you can just type and somebody will understand.
True.
So when it gets to that level, let's see how it goes. But I just believe, like somebody said, to me, just a better tool for Stack Overflow. And this one that Microsoft even wants to like take over. Microsoft has said to acquire ChatGPT. That was yesterday or so. So I feel they might just bring it up just to make some of their tools better, like the Azure and the likes, and it might even fade off from the other areas that we are looking at entirely. That's just my own take on it.
All right, thank you for your thoughts. There's another person, Celestine Uche. I think I got that one correctly. You have the floor, please.
Yeah, yes, sir. Yes, good, sir. I just wanted to add to contribute to the chat GPT.
Yes, please.
I think the thing is that when you put the chat GPT in context, it's not able to actually give you, like we're talking about software design, architecture, it might just suggest to you, and it's based on what has happened in the past. So Paraventure is a new technology, newer than 2021. It will not, they need to actually go back in time to try to fit it in. So I think in terms of futuristic, transforming futuristic events is still lacking. So I think it's just a kind of a tool to give you suggestion or quick step how to go through about in terms of generating code. So it won't really, if you understand architecture very well based on a system design or for a particular enterprise, it might not really go in depth to look at different scenarios or be able to customize those to be able to give you the kind of solution you want. So for now, it's something that can just be suggestive, give you suggestion, but now the honors lies on you as a software engineer to really fit it in and then be able to contextualize it for your own needs.
Yeah, true.
So
that's correct.
Yeah.
A lot of criticism has come up for that product, and as a matter of fact, most countries are already denouncing it. They say they will go back to paper and biro to write exams for research papers. A lot of things has been disrupted. So you see students writing near perfect English, and you wonder, this guy, I know you now, you can't speak good English, and you are writing so correct a paper. So you now be wondering, where did he come from? But by the time you read the content, you feel that, no, this person has not done something. I think our time is up. Okay, Mr. Olanite, please, you have the floor.
Thank you very much, sir.
Yes,
my
please.
little contribution to it, I was opportune to work on a project at some point, which is like a replica of something like ChatGPT, but not verbatim though. And the summary of it all is most applications and solutions like that leverage more on deep learning, which their efficiency is dependent on the volume of data that they have access to. So the more the data available for ChatGPT in terms of solving a particular problem, the more intelligent it gets to behave, which is a function of reinforced learning in neural network extension. So as it is, ChatGPT can work now because programmers have written so much code that it's leverage on for its intelligence. So if you give it a scenario that it has so much small little information, so you will see how inefficient the algorithm is going to play out to be. And most importantly, when you have a new scenario, e.g., let's assume there's another outbreak that is not COVID, and it's just maybe ABC, and there's no article on it on the internet, there's no vaccine, there's nothing. Without that chunk of V parameter, the output is practically useless. That's just my little contribution, sir.
All right, sir. Thank you, Mr. Lanite. Mr. Celestine Uche, I think you spoke earlier. Okay, you have the floor.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Oh, okay. Your hand is still raised. That's why I called you. As it appears, our time is up, and I don't know. And you guys are still glued to the class. Well, I don't know. So Agile activity, we start here next week so that we'll be able to complete what we need to do, and hope that we'll be able to finish the third one, maybe the third chapter next week, or start with the fourth one. That's just quickly finish and round up the class. All right, so there's a need for a feedback for the class. Okay, Mr. Light, have you copied the what was the name?
Attendance, sir. Yes, sir. I have done that, and I've pasted the link.
YouTube
link, sir.
I'm sure. Do they get it at all? Please, could you do that? This class is
okay. Let me repaste it for refreshing purpose.
Okay, please, Mr. Lanite.
Sir?
No, I was reading some comment. Somebody said, don't defend your job here, upskill yourself. Upskill soft skill. You are correct, though. Don't be afraid, your job will not be lost. Don't worry. So Mr. Lanite is pasting the YouTube stuff, so you could look at it again at your time. So you see Miss Abidemi Olanite, that's his name. you could look at that later. So we'll stop at Agile. We start in the next class. I hope this class was not too boring. And I hope you're able to get a few things. Now, for those of you who are core computer science students, I made mention that the class may be boring to you. Why? You are a professional. There are people from mathematics here now. There are people from psychology. There are people from zoology. So some of the things you are even saying in ChatGPT is strange to them. So please just bear with us at the pace we are going. If it were to be core software engineering, then we'll now see ourselves and know those of us who are available. Okay, sorry, I wanted to stop the live. Stop. Okay, stop. Are you sure you want to stop? No. Okay, so cancel. All right. So that's the reason why we have some maybe lazy way of presenting some things. We should have been more blunt than this. So I hope you understand with us. For those of you who are developers, for those of you who are computer science people, IT people, system engineers, there are some zoologists here, botany, they are here. So, and they want to convert, and they want to have some piece of, so we can't make everything look so abstract. So when you are saying CPT, it's just like a search engine where you could type something and gives you answer. And so that's the layman's definition of it. So I hope we've been able to help. So you could write your comments in the comment section, what you feel the class looks like, how it can be improved. So I'm going to stop recording while we take our feedback. All right, so we have come to the end of the class. We'll meet in the next class. Have a pleasant weekend. Yeah, Mr. Celestine, your hand is still raised though. Ekun, you're in class. I hope you have submitted your project to my table. All right, thank you. Yeah, Mr. Olanite, have we been able to copy all the attendance?
Yes, sir. I have copied all the attendance, sir. And I've shared
because I saw
YouTube
a
link
new
again.
person now.
I've copied
Awal
that.
Aliu.
I've copied that, sir. Aliu Bola.
All right, thank you, sir.
You're welcome, sir. Thank you very much, sir.